This meeting is being recorded.
I'm not getting any sound.
We still can't hear anything.
This is Steve Box. I'm hearing you now.
And Doug Carew. I'm getting it now.
Really? How come I can't hear anything?
This is April Griffin. I still can't hear anything.
And this is Robin Brame, the court reporter. I'm sorry, I can't hear anything either.
Ed McCarthy, I can't hear anything either.
Now we can hear some sound.
Now you can hear? Okay.
Are we good? Okay. If so, we will proceed to agenda item number 3. Review and consider approval of the minutes of April 20th, 2022 board training. These very brief minutes, does anyone have any corrections?
I move that we approve these minutes.
So will you move that we approve the April 20th, 2022 minutes for training? All right. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4, review and consider approval of the minutes for the April 20th, 2022 regular board meeting. Board members, you've had a chance to review. Do you have any suggested changes, corrections? If not, I'll entertain a motion. We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second? We have a second. We have a motion and a second to approve the April 20th, 2022 minutes of the regular board meeting. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 5. Consideration of and possible action on the rehearing of the district's decision on the applications of Lower Colorado River Authority for operating permits and transfer permits for 8 wells in Bastrop County. SOA docket number 952-19-0705. The board, we will recall at our meeting of April the 4th, we voted unanimously, and everything that we voted on has been put into a resolution. Get that up. You also received from our counsel, Greg Ellis here, an explanation of the board of directors' final decision and the differences between the State Office of Administrative Hearings proposal for decision and what the board actually voted on. And hopefully all of you have read that. If you have any questions, Mr. Ellis is here. We have a resolution that is before us, prepared by our legal counsel to vote to approve our decision from April the 4th that has been put into writing. Does anyone have any questions or wish to discuss the matter? If there are no questions or discussion, would someone care to make a motion on the resolution before you? We have a resolution, an order adopting a final decision and findings of fact and conclusions of law on the rehearing of the Lower Colorado River Authority's applications for operating and transport permits. Would someone?
I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution.
I have a motion to adopt the resolution. Do we have a second? We have a motion, Ms. Cole, and a second, Mr. Cook, to approve the adopting the final decision and findings of fact and conclusions of law on the rehearing of the Lower Colorado River Authority's applications for operating and transport permits. All in favor? Any opposed? I failed to note that we had some abstention from parties that were recused. Elvis Hernandez, Kay Rogers, and Phil Cook, but Phil Cook's not here. So we have 6, 4, and 2 abstentions, and so the motion carries.
President Smith, this is not super important, but I just want to clarify that you adopted an order.
Yes.
Not a resolution.
Pardon?
You adopted.
Oh,
You adopted an order on the rehearing and not a resolution.
thank you. Does the vote still stand?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, that's up. That's it. You don't have to stay for that.
Okay.
Ellis, does Greg need to stay for investment policy? Okay, so
There was one sentence needed to be stricken, other than that. Okay.
you're good.
If I'm good, I'm good.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Ellis. Agenda item number 6, consideration of and possible action on the 2020 General Manager. Mr. Totten, are you going to speak to that or someone else? Oh, we have the auditor present. Great.
Yeah, should be gone now.
Oh, okay, thank you. You're good.
I generally am a half an hour early. I got stuck behind an accident on 1:30 this evening, and so I'm running a little behind. But good evening. My name is Robert Gattilia, and I'm with Singleton Clark, the district's independent auditor. I'm joining you tonight to present for the board's acceptance the district's audit for the fiscal year ended December 31st, 2021. I'm going to try to be brief in my remarks. I just passed out the bound copy of the audit. I like to use it. We just have 2 pages, but if you don't wish to flip through it, I'm certainly going to talk about things enough out loud that you don't need to. I'm going to try to stick to what we consider to be the most significant and relevant items related to the audit. Those being the type of opinion that was issued, whether there were any findings or management comments or other outcomes related to the audit. And then lastly, a quick look at calculated reserves, and the operating funds ending equity balance. I'm going to start on the last printed page. It's page 31. So on page 31, we have the schedule of findings and question cost. It's a very high-level summary of the audit itself, presented in tabular form. There is a longer narrative form summary referred to as a management's discussion and analysis at the front of the report. It's broken down into 3 sections. Section 1 deals with the audit as a whole. Section 2 deals with state and local matters as applicable, and then Section 3 deals with federal matters as applicable. So at the beginning of Section 1, the first item mentioned is the type of opinion that was issued for the year. And you'll see there that the type of opinion was unmodified. That's the technical term for it. It's often referred to as a clean opinion. It essentially means after having performed the audit, including any adjustments, and then having created this financial report, that it is our belief, our opinion, that the information as far as the financials and all the supplementary information is presented in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles and is fairly stated in all material respects. There is a letter at the front of the report, the opinion letter. The unmodified speaks to the fact that that letter has not been changed from its standard format in any way. So there are no except fors, no but fors, and no limitations of any kind in relation to that opinion. Moving down section 1. Had we had any issues related to procedures or controls of the district, they would potentially be presented there. So as you can see, there were no material weaknesses, no significant deficiencies. And then the last item is whether we had observed any instances of material non-compliance with respect to laws, regulations, contracts, etc., and we did not. Had we had any other observations to a lesser degree, a weakness, a deficiency, and an instance of material noncompliance are fairly significant. If we had had any other items that we observed in the course of the audit that were less so, they would be discussed in section 2 and section 3. Given the fact that the district did not expend more than $750,000 in federal programs, section 3 is not applicable. And you'll see in section 2 that there were no issues noted for the years ended December 31st, 2021 and 2020. Had there been a finding in the prior year, it would have to be restated there with the current status. There was a letter in the back flap of the audit. It is the governing body letter. It is kind of the bookend to the process. You get an engagement letter at the beginning and the governing body at the end. Had there been any management comments or recommendations that we had made, they would be in that letter, and there were not. So clean opinion, no findings, no management comments. The last thing that I'd like to take a look at with you is calculated reserves in the operating funds ending equity balance, and that would be on page 11. So what we normally do with all of our entities is take a look at expenditures or expenses in your case for the year, come up with an average monthly amount, and then divide that into your ending equity position. You have an extremely healthy equity position, and so I'm going to talk about it in terms of years rather than months. You'll see there that the expenses for the year were about $835,000. Last year, they were about $700,000, so there was a slight uptick there. But the last figure in the column is your equity balance at year end. So your net position is $4 million. Last year, when I was here and we discussed this, I think I did present it in terms of months, but you had 5 years, so 60 months more or less, meaning that if you were not to collect another dollar of revenue, you could exist for about 5 years. Given that your expenses ticked up a hair, so you went from 700 to 800, you basically have 4.8 years at year end 12/31/21. So a very, very healthy net position or equity balance at year end. That's all I have as far as prepared remarks. Before I ask for additional questions, I'd just like to thank the board for allowing us to serve as your independent auditor. And thank you all for all of your help in conducting the audit. Does anyone have any questions related to the audit for the fiscal year ended 12/31/2021?
Can you tell me about how much it costs to have an audit made like this?
For you, I don't know off the top of my head what your engagement fee is, but it varies. It could be 10, 20, 30, just depending on the size of the entity. I don't know.
We typically budget about 10% of our expected revenue for the audit. It usually comes in below that cost. So I think it was in the order of
7,500, something like that. Yeah. So typically a city would be 20,000, 25, but yeah.
Does anyone else have any other questions? If not, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
thanks, sir.
All right, I would like
One comment, will this be uploaded to the website?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Okay. All right, this is for possible action. Would someone care to make a motion that we accept the 2021 annual audit report?
I so moved.
What? Okay, Mr. Semang moved.
I second.
Okay, second. To accept the 2021 annual audit report. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 7, consideration of and possible action on a resolution to adopt a district investment policy.
Yeah, I
Oh,
could
go ahead,
speak to
Elvis.
this. So this was part of the financial committee. We reviewed this investment policy with Greg Ellis, and the financial committee has reviewed state audit from last year. So this is again one of the last policy documents that we needed to fully comply with that state audit from last year. It was primarily reviewed also by Mr. Totten. Mr. Totten will be continuing to serve as the investment officer. So currently the general manager is the investment officer, and this continues that practice. And Mr. Ellis actually teaches the class on this topic. So we have a very robust 16-page policy that has been reviewed again by the committee and by Greg Ellis and by Mr. Totten. I believe there was one sentence that need to be stricken, and Jim Totten's got the details on that.
This came up today during the public funds investment training that Greg was provided up in Arlington. At the bottom of page 5 and the top of page 6, there's a statement that says employees and officers are prohibited from undertaking personal investment transactions with the same person with whom the district is conducted on business is conducted on or on behalf of the district. Essentially, we currently bank as a district with First National Bank. If that sentence stays in the policy, every staff member and every director that does business with First National Bank will have to close their accounts and move elsewhere.
I wondered about that.
So my recommendation would be that we strike that and we just make it policy that anyone who does business with those will develop a disclosure form. So anyone that does business with those with First National can file that disclosure. We'll put it on the record at the next board meeting, and then we can address the ethics concern that way.
So just that one sentence, employees and officers are prohibited from undertaking personal investment transaction with the same person with
Yes,
whom the business is conducted on behalf of the district. Just strike that one sentence.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Board members, do you have any other questions or concerns? You've had the opportunity to read over this. This will be our investment policy, and we have a resolution to adopt the district investment policy. If there Any questions or discussion for Elvis?
You need a motion to strike that sentence.
Well, we would make a motion
To adopt.
to pass the resolution striking the sentence on page 5 and 6. Someone care to make the motion?
I make a motion to adopt the policy with the sentence in page 5 and 6 stricken.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the policy with the sentence on page 5 and 6 stricken as discussed. Do we have a second? Okay, Roger, second. We have a motion and a second to adopt for the resolution adopting the district investment policy, striking the sentence on page 5 and 6 regarding the banking. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Elvis. That was a lot of work. I know. Okay, agenda item 8, consideration of and possible action on a resolution adopting a timeline and requirements for the development of a well monitoring growth and implementation plan. Elvis?
Sure. Well, this has been reviewed by the Infrastructure Committee. Everyone was in agreement that we need to constantly upgrade our monitoring well network. Monitoring is key to the district. Currently, we are lacking in certain geographies and certain aquifers. We are in need to grow the monitoring well network. So this plan is a resolution just to create a plan by November such that within 3 years, we would have approximately tripled from about 30 monitoring wells to about 100 monitoring wells to cover all the aquifers in both Bastrop and Lee counties, including alluvial aquifers. It's a plan to identify and document the wells that we partnerships, either with municipalities, utilities, private landowners, and as a last resort, we may need to possibly drill our own monitoring wells in the rights of way. So there was a proposal to pursue the rights of way with Bastrop and Lee County commissioners and the judges to allow that as a last resort in areas where we just can't partner with other private well owners or utilities. So that's in there. Also to create new DFC management zones. So there's been a proposal since 2018 to create new management DFC zones. So that would be part of this so that we can better manage where we want these monitoring wells to be, where it's most efficient and where it makes most sense to monitor. So that's in this proposal. So it's to create a plan by November and then identify the partnerships, the wells that we want to partner with, and then come that time when we're ready, then it's just a matter of executing the plan and just going through and contacting those well owners and those municipalities, those utilities to create a partnership so that we can start growing and creating a good world-class monitoring system.
We just got from legal counsel yesterday the right-of-way, the suggested wording for the right-of-way. It would be an interlocal agreement. Judge Fisher, I just emailed it to you this afternoon. You probably haven't even seen it yet. I don't know if you've gotten yours to Bastrop yet. and this is just, proposed to be worked out with the county. No specific locations identified, just to look at the wording of the document for now. So. All right. Anybody have any other questions for Elvis or for Jim? Jim, did you have anything you'd like to say? Okay.
Elvis has developed this and brought it forward, so.
Yeah, this has been put forth through, and it came up through the Infrastructure Committee. The Infrastructure Committee has had a couple. Same Pretty much as the copy that I handed out last month. Last month, I handed out a hard copy to all the directors. It's pretty much the same, except Natasha added some more whereases, legal stuff up front. Other than that, it's the same document that I had handed out last month.
Very good. Thank you for your part, Natasha.
Albus, who do you foresee taking the laboring oar on this project?
Well, I think that Andy Donnelly and DB Stevens has already started work to identify geographically where we need the wells. So I believe DB Stevens is definitely a partner that we will work with to create this plan. If not already, I believe they're already working it. Jim's nodding his head, so yes.
Judge Fisher, you will see if that's taken care of before you leave office.
We have how many months now? We have 7 months. The clock is ticking.
Yeah, and the rights of way, that idea came from another groundwater district. I believe it's Post Oak, Savannah.
Yes.
They have a similar rights of way agreement, and so we used their agreement as a starting point, and then we edited it and added to it. Or
So
Natasha,
it was
Natasha
vetted and
did.
it is working for another area, for another county. Very good. Any more questions, comments? I would entertain a motion to adopt the resolution for the development of a 3-year well monitoring growth and implementation plan for Lost Pines Groundwater Conservation District. Would someone so move? Melissa so moved. We have a second from Larry Shoddy. We have a motion and a second to pursue the monitoring growth and implementation plan, the 3-year plan. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thanks again, Elvis. Agenda item number 9, consideration of and possible action on the sale of district-owned property located in Page, Texas, including but not limited to retaining a real estate broker for the sale. I would like to mention that myself, Elvis, Kay, and Mr. Phil Cook, who's not with us this evening, had a Zoom meeting with Shara Parker, a real estate broker. We, since that time, got her legal agreement, which has turned over to legal counsel. Legal counsel has approved that it's pretty much just a standard agreement. And it not only includes for a sale of the Page property, but also in the future, if we decide we want to buy more property or a building or an office or whatever.
What's the term of that?
It's a 1-year term. It's a 1-year term. And I asked Kate, she said we would just, start to sign another one or before it expires, we could have a resolution to extend it if we wish, like if we were in the middle of something.
Well, if we can't sell that property in a year, we're in trouble.
No kidding. No, that property is in high demand. So she's already gotten us comps and everything else. So basically, by this motion, we're not only considering the possible sale of the property, but also retaining the real estate broker, Shara Parker, who has a lot of experience in the area, although she is based in Austin, as many of them are. Anyone else have anything else to say or questions? That I do not know. And the water rights too? Okay. Okay. We will certainly look into that. I suppose if we find out anything interesting, we'll bring it back for another vote next month. Would anyone care to make a motion? Agenda item number 9.
To list the property?
Yes, to sell the property located in Page, Texas, and retain the real estate broker, Shara Parker.
Awesome.
Okay, Kay Rogers has so moved that we sell the property and engage the real estate broker. Do we have a second? Okay, Mr. Herb Cook, second. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we'll get that done. Okay. Agenda item number 10, consideration of and possible action on a resolution adopting a board travel policy. And we've already had a few things in place. However, this was another policy that we learned at a recent training that I attended about a month ago, that we should have a travel policy as well. I don't believe it was in the audit from last fall. So we pretty much wrote up what we're already doing. The directors will have to sign the Board of Directors travel policy that is effective as of May the 20th, 2022. Does anyone have any questions? I do want to mention what Mr. Totten researched about, because we were looking at per diems, like how much you get for food and things like that. And one thing is that directors are only allowed $150 a day, whether you have one meeting or two meetings or more. Correct, Jim?
Well, that's the policy that was adopted by the board.
Correct. Right.
The statute allows $150 a day,
But I think what was under question was that there's been several times that there's been either two committee meetings in a day, or in April, we had two hearings in a day, and we were tied up all day, but only will be paid the $150 per day going forward. And as Ms. Rogers said, don't schedule more than one meeting in a day. Not when they're all day like that, really. Just wanted to make sure everyone was clear on that. I would entertain a motion that we adopt the policy, travel policy. Melissa Cole has moved that we adopt the resolution of the Board of Director travel policy. Do we have a second?
I second.
Elvis Hernandez, second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 11, the General Manager's Report. Mr. Totten.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. The General Manager's Report for May of 2022. During the reporting period, April 1st through April 30th of 2022, 14 new wells were permitted through the district for domestic and agricultural purposes. Kay, we're going to have the map for you starting next month.
Thank you.
We had a little bit of a glitch in the database, but we'll have it next month. So
Thanks for checking.
during the reporting period, no pre-existing wells were registered with the district. 4 water quality tests were conducted and 39 wells were gauged during that period. And just to clarify, the well gauging, that runs board meeting to board meeting, not month to month. Everything else is month to month. The drought conditions within the district, approximately a third of Lee County and half of Bastrop County are experiencing moderate drought. The remainder of each county is categorized as abnormally dry. Hopefully we'll have some rain this weekend that'll help kind of turn that around. The member districts of GMA 12 met on April 22nd at Post Oak Savannah's office in Milano. This meeting included a presentation from Bob Mace, Dr. Bob Mace, on his newest paper on sustainability and groundwater. I believe the video for that is posted on the GMA 12 website for anyone that's interested. It was a good talk from Dr. Mace. We had some further discussions about data sharing between districts, looking at either the creation of a shared database or possibly expanding the usage of the TWDB database as a repository for all the data in the GMA area. There was a quick follow-up meeting that was scheduled, posted, and conducted on May 6th. Essentially, there were 3 questions that were raised by the Water Development Board during the processing of the explanatory report that we weren't comfortable taking up on the April 22nd agenda. The agenda language didn't allow for it, so we had a secondary meeting to address those questions and get the responses back to TWDB. At the last month's meeting, Kay Rogers asked for Javier to possibly stand up and say a few words. we'll push that to the end of the report, but I do have that penciled in here so that over the span of the month, we did receive a communication from TCEQ. Ultimately, our management plans have to be filed with TCEQ, but they have to be approved by the Water Development Board. The staff at TCEQ reached out to tell me that TWDB is taking longer than usual in processing the explanatory reports and encouraged us to apply early. So I contacted TWDB and they said that, everything's under control. It's fine. Just make sure you do X, Y, and Z and we'll process it in time. Based on that, my recommendation, same one I made earlier this year, is that we look at doing what's legally required, which is updating our MAGs, our DFCs, and get that submitted to TWDB and make sure that we can get the deadline for TCEQ, get that box checked. And then while that's processing, we can work on doing a more comprehensive rewrite of the management plan. It's a two-step process, but at least then we don't have the impending deadline from TCEQ and the possibility of getting held up by TWDB because we made too many changes at one time. And if they're being slow processing it, then I just don't want us to get kind of caught between that rock and hard place. So that'll be my recommendation. I'll take that back to the management committee as well. So I do have a placeholder item here for anything related to committee activity. I believe that you may have had something.
The management committee has met, and we explored production caps with the help of Greg Ellis. He joined in. We did a little bit on the annual report of the measured water levels obtained from the monitoring well network, which Jim and Andy Donnelly are working on, and they presented what they've got so far with us. We're moving forward with the GMZ zone for Northern Lee County. We've got a stakeholder group forming, and Cheryl has a facilitator for the group. The bigger news is that Natasha sent a final draft of our export fee rule, which we will take to a public hearing, and hopefully this summer. We'll try and get a few things done at the same time. We're going to ask Jim to instruct Natasha to add a permit processing fee to the fee schedule. The fee schedule also pertains to this rule. There were various things, anyone on the board that would like a copy of, per Natasha, some items relating to this rule, but thanks Natasha for that's a big thing for us.
And just to clarify, we do have a permit processing fee. It is in our fee schedule, but it is based on the column inch of every well that's being sought. We may want to revisit that and make it more based the application fee on the acre foot production.
Right. It was just blank on Natasha's.
We'll work together.
Right.
So I would think we can revisit that.
That's the only thing we needed to add. Thanks. Javier.
Hi. I've been tasked to give an update on my activities since I started with the district back in February. What I've been up to or learning and continuing to do so with the district is water quality testing. Thus far, we've tested 7 wells, and we're working with the Aqua Lab to get those tested. We're receiving them as they come in and forwarding that data to the well owners. Water level monitoring route has been created for both counties, and I've been learning the area and testing wells as they come into the route with the tools available. We're working on a video hosting for the district's website because our district's website can't handle a lot of so much data via our seeking an outside source to put into a link into the website to better manage the website. Also serving as the district's translator for our citizens and well owners that can't speak English. We ran into a couple of issues where, get Javier over here, and it's made the well owners and the citizens more compliant and happy working with us, having a good communication process to the public. The district's newsletter is updated every month. There's some as you enter the door, and those are distributed out to the public post office, the ag extensions office, and wherever I stop in.
Not sure if it's just me, but there's no more sound or video.
It does look like they're frozen.
Yeah, you're correct, April.
Okay, my screen is black. Is everyone else's black?
I have a still picture of the board, but nothing's happening. So it's just frozen.
It is frozen. I see it too. Shoot.
Yeah, my screen's gone black now. It was frozen.
They said that they are addressing it. Is everybody's screen still black?
Yes, ma'am. Well, I see it. It's still frozen.
I don't even see a frozen screen.
Mine is black also.
Okay. I think they may have adjourned. Wait,
Natasha just sent me a text saying they were adjourning.
she told me that as well. Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
And
Appreciate it.
if you look at the chat, it says the meeting has ended. Apologies for technical issues.
Okay.
Right.
I just, before I said that, I wanted to make sure that she told me that they had officially adjourned.
There's a chat notice about it.